If you could kick the person in the pants responsible for most of your trouble, you wouldn't be able to sit for a month. Theodore Roosevelt, on Moments in Minutes. Theodore Roosevelt is considered one of the greatest US presidents of all time. But he was so much more than a politician. He lived a very full life, encompassing a wide variety of interests. In the political sphere, he was the 26th President of the United States, and the youngest in American history at 42 years of age. He was responsible for the Square Deal, domestic policies that were quite successful in breaking monopolization of railroads, food, and drugs. He expanded the United States Navy and America's natural resources, and was instrumental in ending the Russo-Japanese War, winning the 1906 Nobel Peace Prize. Roosevelt was a prolific reader, reading thousands of books in his lifetime, as well as being an accomplished author, who wrote 18 books on topics as diverse as history, exploration, wildlife, and ranching. But his accomplishments don't end there. He was also a third-degree black belt in judo, an avid horse rider, regularly exercised and played many sports such as tennis, hiking, polo, rowing, and boxing. And boxing left him blind in his left eye. Now, if this wasn't enough, at a speaking engagement, Roosevelt actually survived an assassination attempt and continued to give a speech for 90 minutes suffering from a gunshot wound. Now, I don't think many of us could actually give a speech for 90 minutes without a gunshot wound. He embraced what was known as the strenuous life, advocating the embrace of struggle and hardship and overcoming odds as a way of making America the greatest nation on earth. Whether that has actually come to pass is up for debate, but what is beyond doubt is the extraordinary character of Teddy Roosevelt. One of the main things holding people back from a productive and successful life is the acknowledgement of one's responsibilities for the things that happen around them. It's easier to point the finger at somebody or something else when things go wrong, but it's a lot more difficult to actually admit that the buck stops with us. Now, it is important to point out that not everything is your fault or even under your control. You can do very little about things like the weather, people's opinions, world events, and the past. But you do have control of the present moment and the way you react to it. What you do right now is your responsibility and yours alone. So it is your choice to watch this video, to read that book, to talk to that person, to play that game, whatever it is. If that particular action is going to affect you in some critical and possibly negative way, and you do nothing to change that, then it is your fault when things don't go the way that you planned. In a similar way, you also have responsibility over your reactions to events. People will do and say many things that rub you the wrong way, but you need to realize that you have the last say on how you deal with them. You can choose to make it infinitely worse by doing what most people do and defend your ground to the last man. Or you could choose to treat that event or opinion as just what it is, a thing or a thought only. However you handle these things is, of course, entirely up to you. But one of the first steps on the road to success is taking responsibility for your life. Once you accept responsibility, you take charge. And once you take charge, you eventually get what you want. So be responsible for you, and give yourself a kick in the backside whenever you need it. Just don't do it too often. The last thing you need is a sore backside.